All right. In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 176 of the WrassleCast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm glad that you're good. Glad that you're good. Anything spectacular happened to you since the last time we talked?
Anything spectacular happen? No,
No. Oh, well, that
no.
can be a good thing too, though.
Yeah, you gotta turn down before you turn up. St. Patrick's Day is this Saturday. You gotta
Ah, yes, yes.
gotta relax.
There you go. Ease on into the weekend.
You get me.
I do. I do. And tonight, we're joined by our special guest. You can find them on Twitter in the Rawcast, hashtag Rawcast live tweet each and every week at Koopa_Kente. What's going on, Coop?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Coop back in this bed, episode 176. You know what I mean? Finally got me back on here. Took a little minute. Had some last minute scheduling conflicts, but I'm back.
Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate you being able to join us tonight. And we're going to have some fun reviewing this wrestling.
Show is. I'm a certified Ring of Honor Bullet Club expert, so I'm bringing the elite commentary tonight. You know what I'm saying? Gang.
The WrassleCast is brought to you each and every week by the CSPN. You can find us on the web at www.cspn.us. You can also find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. So we've got some news to start off amid a whole bunch of online controversy and ugly comments and, some facts being brought to light. The WWE makes a name change to the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal.
Boo. I'm not booing the name change because, fuck Moolah. But, I mean, they could have had a backup name going. like that bland ass name. They could have at least, Sensational Sherry, something, right?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of dead ones. China could, get some love around here, something.
Rockin' Robin, man. What's she talking about?
Anything, man. Just anything other than that bland ass WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal shit.
Well, I don't think they ever intended the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal to get so much heat. So they, had to come up with something, I'm sure, and at the last minute because the groundswell just did not stop after the announcement was made. A lot of people started, putting out the facts of, just the treatment that Moolah, provided her troop of women that, she used around the country and how she picked them out.
Let's not sugarcoat it. It wasn't treatment. She was sex trafficking. She was a pimp. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that too, and stealing money from them and just a whole bunch of horrible things. So, the pressure definitely got them to fold, and good for them. I know they don't want any type of negative press heading into this historic event. So, anything they can do to deflect it, they will. And they stepped up to the plate and made the decision. So, congratulations to WWE. Sometimes they actually aren't as tone deaf as we think. So this past Sunday, we had hashtag Cast in the Fastlane. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the live tweet and everybody who joined us for hashtag Say No to Pre-Shows. During the pre-show, the match was Ty Dillinger, Tyler Breeze, and, basically the Fashion Police and Ty Dillinger versus Mojo Rawley, Chad Gable, and Shelton Benjamin.
Boo.
You got to put some respect on Fandango's name. Like, how you forget my boy name though?
No, I messed around and put it out here in the wrong text the way I wrote it down. I should have just put Fandango instead of trying to, put Fashion Police. Mm-hmm. But Ty Dillinger fights off the Doomsday Power Bomb and it breaks down. Ty Dillinger ends up hitting a modified tiebreaker for the win. Were you happy with that outcome, Coop? Because I know Dee Dee didn't watch it.
Right. I
I
was like, I
said
know you ain't asking me.
I said no to pre-shows too. I even tweeted Didi. I was like, yo, I'm joining Didi on this. I'm saying no to pre-shows. So holler
Okay.
at me when you get to the main show because I ain't even see it.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's fine. Fine opening event, pre-show event. Good to see the Fashion Police back on the screen. They're a lot of fun. The crowd was definitely entertained. So good start to the show. Now for Fastlane proper, we start off with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. The Kinshasa is countered by the super kick, and Rusev covers for two. Rusev looks for the accolade, but Nakamura counters and hits the Kinshasa to the back of the head. He hits another Kinshasa, and Shinsuke Nakamura is victorious. Now, this was a good way to actually start the opening pay-per-view. They got two entrances back to back, as of course, the Nakamura entrance got everybody on their feet, and then Aiden English came out there with them bars. What you think about that, Dee Dee?
Aiden is an icon.
Yeah, he was getting his Drake on.
But I wasn't able to watch because, I was on location and that location didn't seem to believe I had a actual account.
Oh, yeah, there was a little issues going on when it came to that because I had to actually go to an alternative device as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
See.
so you were not alone there.
Cool. I don't feel so bad. However, never mind. I'll get into it later. It doesn't
Okay,
matter right now.
all right. Coop, your analysis of Nakamura and Rusev.
I I thoroughly enjoy both of them, especially with this whole Rusev Day thing. I love it, and there's not too much about WWE right now that I genuinely love as far as gimmicks go, but like Rusev Day, that and Trap Usos, that's my shit. So I enjoyed the opening match. I mean, I think it was kind of obvious that Nakamura was going to win. I don't think he was going to go, start the road to WrestleMania with a L at a pay per view. So, but I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, it was a good match. Good opening match. Next up, we had Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. Rude,
Boo.
Rude and Orton trade strikes in the center of the ring. Orton lays in uppercuts, but Rude gets a backslide for a 2 count. They trade finish attempts, and Rude gets a spine buster for 2. Rude hits a boot, heads to the ropes, but jumps right into an RKO, and Randy Orton gets the pin, and Randy Orton is your new United States champion.
Boo, you
He ain't
whore.
not my United States champion.
After the match, Jinder Mahal arrives and attacks Orton. Then Rude lays out Jinder with the DDT and then gives Randy Orton a glorious DDT as well. So Randy Orton has accomplished the Grand Slam as he has won all the major singles titles in WWE. So he joins that rare list of men to do so. So that is basically going to make him a WWE Hall of Famer for
Well, I
sure
mean,
one
the
day.
the 13 world titles wasn't enough.
Well, this just solidifies it for sure.
I picked against him because fuck all lives matter, Orton. Unlike him, I actually served my country honorably and didn't get kicked out. But
Oh,
anyway, I picked against him because I will never pick him. But I knew Vince been handing out Grand Slams like candy. Dean got his, then Roman got his. So I knew Orton was gonna get his because that's just what Vince been doing. The list went from the new format that includes the SmackDown, the separate tag teams and the Universal and the Heavyweight Championship and the IC and the US title. It went from 7 to 10 in the matter of months. So I knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, fuck that guy. So that's my expert analysis on Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode.
We get a Ronda Rousey video package. Then we have Sammy and Kevin in the back. They're arguing, and Sammy says that he's still Kevin's guardian angel. We have a tag team match between Carmella and Natalia versus Becky Lynch and Naomi. Carmella counters the rear view. Naomi whiffs on the disaster kick, and it breaks down. Becky tosses Natalia, but Carmella hits a head scissors, and Naomi makes the save. Carmella tries to get the Money in the Bank briefcase, but she isn't successful. Carmella hits a super kick, and she is able to roll up Becky Lynch and get the win. Didi, Carmella, she back in your good graces.
No,
The pink and black
no.
Jays were
I
pretty
still
sweet
love
though.
her, but you can't be beating Naomi and think we're gonna be okay.
And not just beating her, pulling her
It's not
hair and shit.
okay.
I don't appreciate that.
It's just not okay. Mm-mm.
Next up, the Usos versus the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston for the SmackDown
Boo!
Tag Team Championships. New Day looks for the double loose, but the Usos send them to the floor. The Usos then hit stereo topes to wipe out the New Day. Then the Bludgeon Brothers arrive and attack all five men, leave them laying for no contest. Xavier Woods got the worst of it as he got the killer bomb onto the steps and he had to be stretchered out of the ringside location.
Mm-mm-mm.
The boys are on their way to having another classic. It was cool in this match because they were using each other's moves. So, like the New Day were doing the Usos moves, and like the Usos
Mm-hmm.
were doing like the New Day's moves, like they did the Midnight Hour. And, so it was a real cool story that they were telling. And then the Bludgeon Brothers just came in there and wiped everybody off the map. So,
I'm not here for this. I feel like this is 4 weeks premature. I feel like New Day should have won. Usos should have asked for their rematch at WrestleMania. Those two could have had their WrestleMania moments together. And then 2B could have done whatever they wanted to do. But interjecting them now, I ain't here for this. Unless somehow we get a a kayfabe, everybody in the New Day and Usos are hurt, and Jimmy and Big E got to form this mismatched tag team like they did on Tuesday, and that's what they do going forward, and become like co-champions. That maybe I'll be here for it, but I'm not here for them in this feud right now.
well, it doesn't look like there's going to be too many one-on-one matches at WrestleMania, so it just kind of goes with the trend. So just add another team in there. Now this match may get some plunder. They may introduce like this may be a TLC match or something like that, since what happened on SmackDown. But we'll get there, and that makes me think that they may add some other things to the match once we get there. But we're still a couple of weeks away. Like I said, after the match, New Day and the Usos, they received medical attention at ringside. Then backstage, AJ Styles cuts a promo on tonight's main event and says his WrestleMania begins tonight. Nakamura wishes him luck and says he hopes he wins. Styles says he will win and beat Nakamura at WrestleMania. We have Charlotte versus Ruby Riott, the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte counters a reverse Hurricane Rana, slamming Riott to the buckles. Charlotte then hits the spear and the figure eight, and Ruby Riott has to tap. After the match, Asuka arrives and faces off with Charlotte. Asuka points to the Mania sign to make her challenge official. Coop, your
Um,
thoughts?
I actually have a little background for y'all. So last week, y'all were trying to figure out who Ruby was talking about when she said Charlotte was going to be another failed bleach blonde with her father's name.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a throw to a Ring of Honor promo from a couple weeks earlier. Matt Taven was cutting a promo on Cody, and Cody has his hair bleach blonde now. And at the end of that promo, he said Cody wasn't gonna, his story was gonna be from a failed wrestler to another like bleach blonde bitch with his father's name or some shit like that. And
Wow.
so, and so that when I heard y'all like trying to figure that out, and I was like, that bleach blonde line, that's ringing a bell. And I lifelong Ring of Honor fan for the last week. So I recalled that that was something that Matt Taven had said to Cody leading up to their feud at the anniversary show last week. So
Thank you for that.
otherwise, I don't have any. I mean, I'm kind of glad that Asuka's doing her match with Charlotte and not Alexa because while I may casually enjoy looking at Bliss's biscuit butt, I think Charlotte's a better fit for this matchup.
Oh, this is probably the most important women's wrestling match in the United States history of wrestling for women. I mean, this is like actually going to be probably bigger than Lita and Trish on Raw because like these are two legitimate, you know, women who have the pedigree, have they've been built and booked pretty well, except for Charlotte losing her WrestleMania streak. Now, this really could have been a real simple story if they didn't beat Charlotte at WrestleMania last year, where she has her 4 or 5 year WrestleMania streak going up against Asuka's, gaudy, 400 match winning streak. So, but they blew it on that, but they still can make a great story out of this. Didi, your thoughts?
I don't have any.
But about just for women's wrestling though, Asuka versus Charlotte. I mean, that's
Oh, I
probably the
mean,
biggest
I'm
match that
still
could be.
not like I'm sold on Charlotte, but I'm not sold on Charlotte.
Okay.
Tell them
Like
how
I
you really feel.
like I turned the corner because I was just like I don't get her, but I get it now. But I'm still not like I'm not where everybody else is with her. No
That's a
shade though. I
that's
like
the
her
cool
just
thing
fine.
about wrestling. You can, warm up to people at your own pace. Everybody doesn't always see it for everybody at the same time.
It's true.
You were
Hmm.
you were ahead of the curve on Carmella. A lot of people didn't see it,
See,
but
I was right on
I
her.
I still don't honestly, but
It's okay. Listen, in Trump's America, I'm not gonna be the one to force a white woman down anybody's throat. If you don't get Carmella, it's okay.
so now we move on to the main event of the evening, the WWE Championship Six-Pack Challenge match, where we had AJ Styles versus John Cena versus Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin. Kevin wants Sami to lay down. Sami does. Kevin is surprised, and then Sami rolls him up for a 2 count. Kevin and Sami brawl crazy fist style, and then they brawl to the floor, and Kevin looks to do the power bomb on the apron, but it gets countered, and both men are down on the floor. Everyone is down. Sami looks at Shane and yells at him. Sami moves, and Kevin super kicks Shane. Sami then hits Kevin with the tornado DDT through the bottom ropes, and back in. Sami looks for the hell of a kick, but he eats a super kick. Kevin hits the pop-up power bomb on Dolph Ziggler, but Shane pulls out the ref. Sami then connects with the hell of a kick to Kevin, but Shane pulls out Sami.
Mm.
Dolph Ziggler covers Kevin, but Sami breaks it up. Baron Corbin takes out Cena with the steps and then attacks Sami, Ziggler, and Kevin with them. Cena is back in and overpowers Corbin and attacks him with the steps. The AA on the steps follows, but Ziggler makes the save. Super kick by Ziggler, but Cena immediately hits an AA. Kevin gets back in, hits the pop-up powerbomb to John Cena, and then AJ Styles flies in with the phenomenal forearm, and he pins Kevin Owens to retain the WWE title. This was a really good match. For 6 people to be in it and having to whiz around and figure out how to put together something where everybody got a chance to do a little something, this came out really good.
Sure. I would just like to say officially, congratulations, Don, for winning the Fast Lane edition of Who you got? By exactly 1 point, you are the winner.
That would be back to back.
Damn.
I guess.
He just went Drake. He just went Drake on you.
Oh,
He,
all because you had faith in the Usos.
Yeah, so that was Fastlane. I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought that the angle there with Sammy and Kevin and Shane at the end was really good. AJ Styles, recovering from the dead after John Cena ate him on the announce table, and hitting Kevin with that phenomenal forearm out of nowhere, retaining the title. Baron Corbin looked good. Ziggler looked good. I thought the main event was really strong. So
I'm just glad they didn't drop the strap because leading into it, there were all these articles about, hey, don't be surprised if Kevin Owens wins the championship and gets a lot of heat. And I'm just like, no, you are not going to fuck with my. Damn, my bad. You are not gonna fuck with my AJ and Shinsuke part two. You're not gonna do that. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
yep, everything was intact. So Didi, before you didn't get a chance to see it all, so it wouldn't be fair to ask you the gummy bears question on this one. So it's probably about a three out of five this week on the Fastlane pay per view.
Naomi lost, so it's a 2.
Okay. So we'll
Yep.
shift over to Monday Night Raw. Kurt Angle comes out to talk. Angle hypes the Mania match against Mr. and Mrs. Stephanie McMahon. He also hypes Lesnar versus Reigns, but Brock won't be here tonight. This brings out Roman. Roman isn't surprised that Brock isn't here. He runs down Brock for his lack of respect. Reigns wants to know what the ramifications will be, and then says that Brock is Vince's boy. Reigns then says the problem is Vince, the same man who didn't tell him what the deal was. Roman says he busts his ass for Vince and his company and refuses to be respected by Vince. Reigns heads to the gorilla position and he wants answers. Vince wants to talk in his office and they go to commercial. That was kind of cool. Verge of being something cool.
Breaking the fourth wall, catching, letting everybody know that Shane was in the building in production.
Yeah, I mean it's still a family business, no matter how corporated it is and incorporated it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's still involved with it. So
and all them damn McMahon's gonna be on my TV for another 4 weeks, so I'm not happy about that.
We see Reigns leaving Vince's office. We get no comment from him. Vince then says that Brock is his own man and didn't mean to disrespect Reigns, but he needs to know his role and shut his mouth. Vince also says that Brock has certain privileges, but Brock will be on Raw next week and he will compete at WrestleMania. Vince then temporarily suspends Roman Reigns. Thoughts? Concerns?
I mean, I get them keeping away from each other leading up to it. I think everybody still remembers. Wasn't it them that had that awkward ass face off on the go home show where they were just like doing tug of war with the belt?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's good that Vince is just keeping them separate. I also think that everybody is on to the whole Brock's gonna be here. Oh, Brock's not here thing to kind of get the crowd behind Roman. It was cool the first time, but 3 straight weeks now, everybody's like, yeah, we know what's up.
Miss Didi, your thoughts?
I really did not appreciate how he was very MAGA about saying know your role and shut your mouth. Like, it's very Republican of him, if I do say so myself. And also, I feel like they shouldn't have cut the commercial because it looked like Roman was about to whip that ass. And I want to know how it happened that Roman got suspended and didn't say nothing. Like, did you calm him down and get him away from you and then say, oh, by the way, you're suspended? Or like, were there security involved? Like, how did this happen? Let's talk about it.
Well,
I got questions.
Hopefully this sets Roman up to crash a party one week and really do something cool, but we'll see. Sasha Banks versus Sonya Deville. Sasha hits the Meteora, and then Mandy Rose gets on the ring with the distraction. Bayley takes Mandy out, and Banks scores the win with the Banks statement. Bayley bells post-match as Absolution kicks the shit out of Sasha to stand tall.
That's Sasha's fault. She gonna sit up there and chill in the ring, watch them convene in the corner, and decide to like surround her. Mind you, it's only 3 of y'all, and one of y'all can't wrestle. So you're really not surrounded. And instead of just sliding out the back and making your way, you're gonna go fight the girl and then fight the other girl. And then be shocked that the number game caught up to you. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, Bayley was definitely using her brain on that one. She, did her job. She helped Sasha win the match, and then after that, she was like, "I'm not taking no more beatings for you."
Listen, it's not like she ran away. She just left, which is what Sasha should have did.
I'd be so here for Bayley joining Absolution. I'd be so here for that.
That's a super stretch.
I'm not saying it'll happen. I would just be here for it. Like, for her to be the one to turn heel instead of Sasha, and for her to join Absolution, even if it's just temporarily, I'd be here for that for Bayley's sake. Because this hug life shit is stale as fuck.
It definitely would be a 180 from what we know, and you never know. She may be able to pull it off. We get Miz TV with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Miz is out by himself. Then he brings out Rollins and Balor. Miz tries to stir up shit with Rollins and Balor, noting that they're WWE's workhorses and could have burned it down at Mania. Rollins says that they aren't stupid and that the Miz has to deal with the fact that it's a triple threat. Miz makes bingo hall references at Finn and reminds us that he beat Rollins to become Universal Champion. Balor isn't buying the bullshit either. Miz says that he isn't the bad guy here, but the crowd disagrees. Miz continues to try to stir the pot, but Rollins says that they are already fired up for the match. Rollins says that he will win and take the IC title, and that Finn doesn't stand a chance. Finn disagrees. Finn then says that they don't have to wait, and he wants the match tonight. Miz is very happy with himself, but Finn and Seth realize what he's done, and they attack the Miz, dumping him to the floor. Then Miz lays out Finn Balor and leaves Finn laying in the middle of the ring. So, Didi, Finn forgot the number one rule.
Never turn your back on me, Mufasa.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why that's so hard for them.
And it always happens on these things where, like, everybody should be out there protecting themselves, and they get too comfortable thinking they got an ally, and then, bam.
First of all, you have no friends. Even if you have friends, you have no friends.
Word to Seth Rollins.
Seth can be my friend, though. No. I would say I'm joking, but I'm not.
That's all right. Get your creep cast on, because I sure got mine coming.
Oh, Lord.
So we have The Bar versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Dallas and Axel attack before the bell and send the champions to the floor. Everyone brawls, and then the Revival hit the ring and attack. The Good Brothers join in, causing the champions to bail up the ramp until Titus Worldwide, as well as Slater and Rhino, arrive and attack the Bar as well. Sheamus and Cesaro are finally forced to just run away.
They were shook.
Yeah, they were. Everybody came out there and, trying to represent like, oh, y'all ain't got no competition. Here we are. Wrestle us all.
I mean, but they don't, because the Raw Tag Team division ain't shit. But, it was a nice little moment.
We have the moment Didi Jonay was waiting for all night. John Cena comes down.
Oh, they're so rude.
He claims that he's found his road to WrestleMania, but admits that he failed multiple times on both brands. He makes no excuses and just wants to contribute to Mania. The crowd chants for Undertaker as Cena says that he's not contributing to Mania this year. He isn't quitting or walking away. He will be there, but as a fan. He's going to be fired up, just like us, and then shares a beer with the fan. He tries to start a "This is awesome" chant, and then jokingly tries to start a "Let's go Roman" chant. And then he leads a "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chant, since the fans won't be able to do it to him at WrestleMania. He says he's going to do something he's not supposed to do. What's the worst that can happen? He challenges The Undertaker again. He was told that the match was impossible, but he doesn't understand why. If WWE didn't like it, he'd be suspended like Roman Reigns. He repeatedly makes the challenge. He jokes that the mic is still on and he's still here. He then claims that The Undertaker is the one that doesn't want the match. He tells Taker to get over his own ego because when he fails, he still goes to work. When Taker fails, he hides in shame and embarrassment. You are not too old. You're not too broken down, and you're not too fragile. If you were, you wouldn't be posting workout videos on your wife's Instagram.
All of them lies.
Okay.
Cena asks if the fans want to see Taker kick his ass and tombstone him at WrestleMania. Of course they do. Cena wants Taker to get over himself and try it. Cena would either go as a fan or will face Taker and make history. The ball is in your court, dead man. If I were you, I would want one more match.
I want to hurt him. Like, I hate him so much.
I just want him off my TV, and I damn sure don't want MAGA Taker on my shit either.
Like, this story, The Undertaker is 52 years old. Just because he's doing CrossFit or whatever the fuck he's doing with his wife on Snappy Chat or whatever the fuck, doesn't mean he can be taking bumps and shit at fucking WrestleMania.
We saw last year he ain't had no business
he couldn't
taking
even walk the whole way. Like, what are we talking about?
He's got new parts and pieces since then, though.
Yeah, but he's not better.
I don't hear that shit.
He's still 52. They're not bionic. It's just better. He's still old.
I heard, because they're inaugurating a certain Republican rock star in the Hall of Fame, I heard that we might get American Badass Taker.
I don't want any Taker that involves a match with John Cena.
I don't want him either. And here's my thing. Him being at WrestleMania no longer means anything. They should have retired his ass the first time he lost in New Orleans.
He never should have lost.
And then that's the case that should have been made. But
he should have just retired. I don't understand why he lost.
Since he lost, there was no need for him to come back. And then you come back, and then you lose again to put Roman over. There's no fucking reason, unless you just want him to go out with a win. There's no reason for him to be at WrestleMania anymore. Like, that whole Undertaker mythology at Mania is dead. No pun intended.
No, it's dead. They killed it. Ugh. I don't know who makes those choices, and I don't like them, whoever they are.
I would also like to point out that I mentioned last year, I asked what the over-under was for 45-plus-year-olds going to be at this year's WrestleMania, and it's already looking like it's going to be more than last year's.
Ugh.
And so who would you do? Triple H, Kurt, Undertaker?
Shane. Cena's damn near in that bracket. Shit, who else we got? I gotta think on it, but it's looking like it's either gonna be about the same or more than last year, because there was a lot of 45-plus-year-olds on that damn show last year.
All right. That's definitely something I'll keep my eye on.
I'm not here for it.
Sheamus and Cesaro in the back. They are complaining to Angle about their beatdown. Angle says they got what they asked for by calling out all of the tag teams. Sheamus and Cesaro say that they heard the rumors of a superstar shakeup after Mania, and they want to be traded to SmackDown.
Hey, we will welcome you.
Angle refuses and says that there will be a Raw Tag Team Battle Royal tonight to determine their opponents at WrestleMania. Elias is here to perform. He's wearing a neck brace. He then stops and says, "This is all your fault," and then he leaves. We didn't get a chance to walk with Elias this week.
Y'all don't deserve it.
Hmm. Braun cuts a promo. He gets the words on the screen. He's pissed about not having a match at WrestleMania, but promises to carve his own path.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the match of the night, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Rollins charges in with forearm strikes, but Balor counters back with an enziguri. Balor heads up top, and Rollins cuts him off. Rollins follows Finn up. Balor fights him off, but Rollins runs back up. Rollins hits the superplex, but Balor rolls him up before Rollins could do the roll through into the Falcon Arrow, and Finn Balor picks up the win. Crafty little move by Finn.
Shook. Seth was shook, confused, disappointed, upset.
Yeah, it's good scouting by Finn. It's like he knows the moveset. Like, eventually, they're going to have their own program, and it's going to be real good. Like,
I'm so excited.
hopefully they get like 3 matches where they get to really, really go at it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they announced the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal for WrestleMania. And then we get Asuka. She says that she'll be on SmackDown tomorrow. And since she's facing Charlotte at Mania, Charlie gets in the ring to interview Asuka. We see footage from Fastlane where Asuka challenged Charlotte. And then Alexa Bliss interrupts along with Mickie James. Bliss makes fun of Asuka and her poor English. Bliss says that Asuka is fierce and smart. Bliss and James mock the streak and say that she was smart not to face Bliss. Bliss says that she redefined the role of champion, and Asuka knows that she would lose at Mania. Bliss says Asuka is smart for backing off of a fight that she can't win. Asuka says she chose Charlotte because to be the woman, you got to beat the woman. She wants to face the best champion in WWE. Bliss says there must be a language barrier and that Asuka chose the weaker champion. Asuka says she already beat Bliss and will beat her again right now. Bliss says that Asuka will face this woman, but no one appears. Mickie then attacks and takes Asuka down, and Mickie and Bliss laugh at Asuka. Again, Alexa Bliss, magic on the mic, carrying the segment as only she can. She's so good. So now we get Asuka versus Mickie James. Mickie James hits a sunset bomb for a near fall. Asuka counters the mid kick and gets the Asuka lock, and Mickie James has to tap. And then we switch backstage where Nia and Bliss confront each other. Bliss confronts her about not coming out to help. Nia says Kurt told her not to come out. Bliss says that she did this all to help Nia, and she loves her. They hug. Bliss will apparently face Asuka next week and wants Nia to be in her corner. All right, Dee Dee, give me some feedback on this little part. What do you think about Nia not coming out and that little backstage interaction?
I mean, is this supposed to be like real world? You know, Alexa. Like I just don't get it.
It's Mean Girls.
I don't get it. Here's the thing. I was teased too when I was growing up. I guess I'm a thicker gal, but I'm not 6 feet tall, and I never got bullied by nobody smaller than me. So I don't really understand any of it because she could have pushed that bitch in the locker forever ago. Like I don't understand. Like you can't bully me if you're smaller than me. That's not how this works.
But they're playing off of the fact that everybody knows they have like a real friendship.
I know, but again, you're not gonna bully me if you're smaller than me.
All right.
So I can't relate. It's not relatable.
Okay. Cool. Your thoughts on the Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Mickie James little triangle?
I think they misplayed it. I think they misplayed it by letting Alexa and Mickey know that Oscar heard them.
Oh,
I
that's
mean
that's fine.
that Naya
Yeah.
heard them.
Oh, so let's get into that right quick. Nia Jax versus Joan King. King is terrified and begs off, but Jax immediately attacks, and the beating has begun. Jax hits an elbow drop, Samoan drop, and Nia wins. Then on the Titantron, the camera catches Mickey and Alexa burying Nia backstage, and it pops up on the Titantron, and Nia sees it all. Alexa admits to using Nia to get ahead and says Nia is happy just carrying her bags. Bliss says she has Nia in the palm of her hand. She's just as dumb as she is big. Bliss says that they will use Nia next week, and if Nia doesn't play along, they would beat her down. Charlie arrives and informs Alexa and Mickey that since an interview was scheduled, that the mics and the camera were on and that everybody heard everything. Nia is sad, and then she gets pissed and runs to the back. It's murder time. Mickey and Alexa run away before Nia can kill them. Nia throws a fit backstage, tossing bags around and screaming. So wasn't the crying from last week. It was the I'm mad and I'm about to fuck some shit up this week.
Yeah, I think they misplayed that. I don't think that they should have let them know. I think that Naya should have just, did her little, beat their ass during the match next week. And after she beats her ass and Alexa scurries away and she has a microphone and she wants to know why and plays the victim, then the Titantron should just come on and the video should just play, and then Nia can cut her little promo, and then that should have been that. I think they played it wrong by revealing that information this early. Well, it's
Okay.
not necessarily wrong. I just think they could have played it better.
Right. Drawn it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that should have been a surprise until next week. Like, hey, yeah, I caught you, bitch. Now what?
DD got anything else to add before we move on?
Mm-mm.
All right. We get the video package on the upcoming Ultimate Deletion, which will take place next week. Matt and his whole army will be there, including Senor Benjamin, Vanguard 1, Rebecca, King Maxwell, Prince Wolfgang, Lake of Reincarnation, the whole nine. Bray then cuts a promo calling Matt a liar and a fool. He claims Matt made a poor decision and gladly accepts the invitation for Ultimate Deletion. I hope this is good. I hope this is better than the New Day at the Hardy or the Wyatt family compound or whatever we got a couple of summers ago. I hope this is better than the House of Horrors. I really hope this is good. I hope they let Jeremy Borash and Matt Hardy just go crazy. If that doesn't happen, it's not going to be very good.
I think you by yourself on this one because I was not a lifelong Ring of Honor fan or TNA fan or wherever he was before this, so I'm not emotionally invested in this whole Woken
Oh
Broken
yeah,
Matt Hardy shit.
yeah. If you missed out on the TNA thing, then yeah, you don't really. Yeah, it was a phenomenon. It was a movement unto itself. But it was a whole thing. It was like a whole like 6 months worth of stuff though. It wasn't just like how WWE's playing it, where it's just like all of a sudden he turned around one day and he's all woken or whatever. It was like a whole story that went with it. So that's why it worked so good in TNA because they actually built it up to make it make sense. Where WWE they just throwing it out there. The Good Brothers versus the Revival versus Titus Worldwide versus Slater and Rhino versus Dallas and Axel, number one contenders tag team battle royal. Before the match starts, Braun arrives and he's entering himself into the match. Braun tells the referee to ring the bell, and then Braun proceeds to power slam the Miz Taraj and tosses Axel and then Dallas. Braun tosses just about everybody out of the ring. The last person who's left is Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson hit the super kick. Braun cuts him off and hurls him over the top rope onto the pile of bodies on the outside. And Braun Strowman single-handedly wins the tag team battle royal.
Mm.
I am so here for this shit.
An icon.
I am here for Braun Strowman by himself being the tag team champions on Raw. I am so here for this shit. If they don't book Braun to beat the Bar at WrestleMania, fuck them, and I'm canceling my subscription. Even though I'll probably just sign up with a bunch of different emails and get it for free later on. But they need to make Braun the tag team champion by himself.
That would be amazing. Like, I understand why technically it's not amazing, but I still think it's amazing.
No, it'd be fucking amazing. It
Again,
really would.
again, another example of Braun Strowman doing something cool, and the intrigue of him being the single, a single-handed tag team champion is cool too. So it gets people, intrigued about it. Like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, they buried the whole tag team division." It's like, nah, not really. It's like the tag team division actually got more buzz by this happening than it has in the last like 3 months. So
There's nothing that the tag team division on Raw as currently constituted. There's nothing that they could do that would bring any buzz or is as cool as this because the Raw tag team division right now is shit.
right. And what they could do is while he's the champion and they get that new focus on and they have that interest, they could simultaneously build a division back up if they're smart. Because, you could eventually put together like some super team that comes along and finally gets him, or he finally gets a tag team partner, and then you can spin it off where Braun goes off into that singles program, but it costs him the tag team title somewhere along the way. So there's a lot of stuff they can do to make the tag team division have interest with Braun as a champion. They just got to be smart about building back up again. So that was Monday Night Raw. Decent Monday Night Raw. I thought Braun at the end definitely brought it home and made everything worthwhile. The Nia, Alexa Bliss, that was a little heavy, but I think it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is making people have sympathy for Nia and turning her babyface rather quickly and making everybody hate Alexa Bliss and Mickey James. And so that's mission accomplished there. So
I
no
was
Ronda.
uncomfortable with it, but
No Ronda this week, and the broadcast rejoiced.
It's lit.
oh, you know what? They said that Ronda was gonna be there every Raw leading up to Mania, and then she wasn't there, and then they deleted that post that said she was gonna be there every Raw leading up to Mania. Like they backtracked off of that quick as fuck.
Yeah, so apparently the people who put it out on the website didn't get the final confirmation from the office, and they just kind of ran with it. And so then, yeah, that's why they had to pull it back. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay.
Oh, hi. How are you all?
We're good.
It's wonderful.
Where was
Smack-
SmackDown at this week?
SmackDown was in Indianapolis, a place called Bankers Life Fieldhouse. It's a very odd name. I don't like it, but none of my business. AJ comes out to a huge reaction. He talks about what happened at Fastlane and how he's going to WrestleMania. He says it's unbelievable, and it seems like he would never even be in the WWE, and now he's the champion. And now, how unbelievable is it that he's going to defend the championship at WrestleMania? The crowd says you deserve it. He says, no, I earned it. He talks about Shinsuke and mentions how their paths are similar, but the comparisons end when it comes to the title. He calls himself phenomenal, and Nakamura interrupts. There's some dueling chants in the crowd. He said everyone likes the two of them, and he respects AJ. He says at WrestleMania, dreams come true. My dream needs to face, and I become champion. Personally, I think it's iconic. Rusev and Aiden English interrupt, and once we come back from commercial, there shall be a match.
AJ Styles was talking a whole lot of shit in the house that Didi Jonay built.
Listen, white men, they just take over everything. I can't take it. Just let him believe what he wants to believe. Whatever. How was the house you built? You wasn't here on Thursdays. I was.
Mm, on Thursdays.
Thursdays.
You
Everybody else was looking at Shonda. What was I doing? looking at people in blue. You not
Mm-hmm.
new. You new to this. I'm true to
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm,
But
he wasn't there when you was watching Tape SmackDown.
okay. When all the spoilers was already out, but I watched anyway because I care.
Mm.
Okay. That's all right. So, non-title match: AJ versus Rusev. Nakamura's ringside to watch the match. Styles is in control until Rusev gives him a shot to the throat and a spine buster. For a 2 count, AJ slips out of a superplex attempt, hits some strikes and a sliding forearm. Rusev comes back with a gut buster and a kick to the head for 2. AJ ducks a super kick, hits a Pele kick, and a fireman's carry neck breaker. Rusev counters with a Styles Clash attempt, and he counters a Styles Clash attempt and tries for an accolade, but AJ counters and eventually gets into the calf crusher. There's some rolling around of the ring, but eventually Aiden jumps into the ring and breaks it up. That's the DQ. As he beats up AJ, Nakamura slowly rises to his feet. He hits the ring, lays out both Aiden and Rusev with some kicks. He gives Nakamura he gives AJ a look before leaving the ring. And that's that. Our thoughts, feelings, questions, and concerns.
He let them get their licks in on AJ, but he didn't let them hurt him. So that was pretty
Hmm.
smart.
Yeah. I'm going to skip a little bit, but backstage, AJ finds Nakamura and says he didn't need his help. And Nakamura says, it looks like you did. And then he says, every time until WrestleMania, he's going to help AJ. But at WrestleMania, he's going to beat AJ with a knee to the face.
I thought that was better than the promo at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I think that's lit. To tell somebody, like, I'm always going to help you until we get there. And once we get there, knee to the face.
I want a knee to face shirt.
That's beautiful. I think they should work on
I want that with him doing the Kinshasa on it like a silhouette. I want that.
that. I like it. Okay, so I'm going backwards. They show some clips of the Bludgeon Brothers beating people's asses at Fastlane. Daisy interviews Big E. He's alone. He says he wishes he was there with the rest of the New Day, trying to figure out a way to fill Corey Graves' car with pancake batter, but the Bludgeon Brothers took away their opportunity and tried to destroy them. Big E says that the rest of the New Day will be back, and as long as he is standing, he will represent New Day. Jimmy's there, his arms wrapped up. He tells Big E he wouldn't be standing alone tonight. He said they would get a chance to tear the house down when everyone recovers, but tonight they would team up to take care of business
That
because
was
they're getting ready to fight the Bludgeon Brothers.
On some Bloods and Crips, 92 after the Rodney King trial, true shit.
that
They
was
walk
some
together with their flags tied together like we on some true shit right now.
that was a high level promo from both of those guys, especially Big E. Big E
Yeah.
showed some world champion type promo skills.
This man is a smooth 700 pounds and got a whole girlfriend. I need to do better. Anyway, so Big E and Uso jumped the Bludgeon Brothers during their entrance. They grab steel chairs and dare Harper and Lauren to get into the ring. They look like they're hesitant until they realize, oh, we carry malice on us at all times. So then they enter the ring. The referee runs away. Eric and Luke knock the chairs away with their mallets. And Big E and Jimmy escape the ring before more damage can be done. After the commercial break, the match starts. Bludgeon Brothers are almost immediately in control. They make a tag, the Usos do, and run wild on Harper. And so Harper cuts the Uso off with a big boot. Eric tosses Big E into the steel steps, and the Bludgeon Brothers finish off Jimmy with an assisted power bomb for the pinfall win. And then they lay out Big E. Um, Afterwards, I believe they threw him into the barricade. Renee do we care? Do we want to talk about it more? Are we good?
Great value War Machine. They're doing their thing. They WWE gets real plays loose and fast with that 50-50 booking when they want to. And
Yeah.
and it's actually getting people behind the Bludgeon Brothers. Actually, amazing how that works.
Listen, they have some really great entrance music. Like every time I forget, it's just like, oh, mm, yes. It's just the music of somebody who will whoop some ass. Compare it to them people on Raw with that like hip hop country music bullshit.
Oh, you're talking about the revival?
See how you knew who I meant? Yeah, because it's awful. So I'm just saying, sometimes the music matters.
I mean, they
Some
took long enough getting that new gimmick together, so I'd hope
The
they got it
crazy part
together
is it's
and
not that
got it right.
different. They put them in what some long ass coats, gave them a mallet. Eric still got that same creepy ass sheet mask with him. I wonder if he was just like, bitch, I bought it. I'm using it every time I come out. I'm putting my 12.99 to good use. But anyway, I digress. Renee asked Sammy who he blamed his failure, whom he blamed his failure to win the the title at Fastlane. Sammy says it's a loaded question and said if it were not for Shane, he would obviously be WWE champion. However, he blames Kevin because Shane's obsession with Kevin cost him because he's guilty by association. Sammy calls Kevin a talented guy who has been there for him in the past, but when it comes to his career, he is a self-absorbed egomaniac. He says Kevin he says he played Kevin perfectly, but he paid the price for being guilty by association, and that was a price he is not willing to pay again. How did we like it?
That was a really good promo. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like so impressed by Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso, and Big E promo game this on this episode. This probably besides the thing that happens at the end that I took away from this episode. It's like, damn, those three boys really had some strong promos.
Sammy is a ginger icon, and I'm glad he is finally stepping into himself to show. My God, I feel like if you can't walk through the grocery store, you don't get to pick up junk food. Anyway, Charlotte Flair comes out. She's excited knowing Asuka wants to challenge her. She knew Asuka was there and wanted to be in the ring when she arrives. Asuka comes out. She welcomes her to SmackDown. Asuka says thank you. She says people always asked her what would happen if she faced Asuka, and they are going to find out at WrestleMania. She says iron sharpens iron, and she wants to face Asuka, aka the best fighting the best. She says she's never faced anyone like Asuka, and Asuka's never faced anyone like her. She says she is going to end her streak and cement her legacy. Asuka says she challenged Charlotte because she likes the challenge. I quote, "You are the queen, but I am the empress," and Asuka bows to no one because no one is ready for Asuka. And then Asuka's music plays because Asuka's music is what? Bomb. Because what? Bomb music matters. Okay, just like last week, the women's segment ends when somebody comes out for the next segment. It's weird. It feels accidental, but it has to be on purpose. I don't like it though. How
Yeah,
do you feel about it?
especially when they don't have any connecting to each other.
Yeah, like when Bobby did it, it was cute, and because
Right.
oh, who isn't happy to see Bobby? But like this time, it was all eyes. Don't nobody want to see him, but his wife, maybe. Like no, I don't like it. Coop, do you care?
I agree wholeheartedly about the weird timing of the people just coming out like in abruptly ending promos. I don't know if they just feel like they're pressed for time now. I don't know what the fuck Vince is doing with that show, but or if that's Road Dogg making that call. I don't know who makes that call, but yeah, it's stupid.
I concur. Okay, so Orton says he's been called many things in his career, some good, some not so good. You know,
Boo!
we call him racist, lazy, um, a deserter. There are words. Who knows? But never until now was he the United States champion. Orton says this puts him on an elite list of Grand Slam champions, a list he actually cares about. First of all, bitch, the most important list there is Chris Jericho's list. Let's let's get it together. Talking about a list he cares about. Don't nobody care what you care about. Anyway, Bobby earned his respect at Fastlane. Who cares? But the title is his now, and nobody was stopping him from taking it to WrestleMania. Then Bobby comes out and congratulates him. He says, "You got me." He says he has a rematch. And then he says it would happen at Mania. Yeah. He says he will regain his title and it will be glorious. Then Jinder interrupts. He congratulates Orton. He's eggs on Orton by saying Bobby was only in WWE for a cup of coffee so far and still won the US title before he did. Jinder says he would beat Bobby in a match at Mania. Then Bobby says he will beat Orton in a match at Mania.
Uh-oh. The internets took her away. Let's see if they will bring her back.
Damn.
It's the same thing that happened last week. I was trying to talk fast without slurring because I have been drinking.
She been drinking. She been drinking.
All right. So Jinder. He has a match with Bobby Roode. The crowd chants USA. Let's note that the people in the ring are both Canadian. Bobby took most of the match, but fell for the old distraction and got hit with a Colossus finish. So Jinder wins. Afterwards, Orton runs into the ring with the biggest look of excitement on his face and hits Jinder with an RKO. Backstage, Renee catches up with Kevin. He's miserable. He says he can't believe what Sammy said earlier and reminds us that he got screwed over by Shane first. And if that didn't happen, Sammy would have come close to winning. He was also pissed at Sammy's little stunt during the match and said he could never get it done on his own. Owens calls himself the rightful WWE champion and says Shane was like all the other McMahons who need the spotlight. He said there was no reason for Shane to even be at ringside and was ready to teach Sammy a lesson. Lit. Yes, yes. Yes. Okay. So they do the announcement for Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. Can I just say, I didn't know she was like, you know, a pimp. How come y'all
Yeah.
didn't tell me that until last Monday?
Well, the history isn't always known, but you just have to dig
I
a little
just
bit.
find it funny how
No.
everybody knew but me.
I mean, I had heard some stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then I went, did my Googles because, I live on Google and Wikipedia.
Yeah,
And,
Google knows.
I had read some shit.
I mean, I believe it. If you've ever seen her eyebrows, she has the eyebrows of a pimp. I believe it. She gives me like Cruella de Vil aesthetics. Like, I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying, how everybody know but me. I feel like some of you people on the interwebs are lying about knowing. No shade. I can't. Y'all can't hold water. So how did y'all hold that? Like, I can't believe it.
I'm pretty
I,
sure a lot of people retweeted that
I
and
guess
found that out for the first time when they,
I,
read that and retweeted
and
it.
maybe it never came up. Like they don't mention Moolah's name like heavy.
They don't, but it's almost
So,
like
and
remember
that's
they kept
probably
mentioning
why
Mae
they don't
Young, and I
mention
used to
her
always
name.
wonder like, why do you keep mentioning Mae Young? Like, what I remember most about Mae Young is when she gave birth to the hand. Like, what is this?
I
And
remember her
nobody
titties.
even back then was like, oh, because we can't really say anything about that other one. Like, nobody said anything else. Well, I guess y'all the
Also,
people I need to
nobody
hold
liked
secrets.
Moolah. Like, and that's probably another reason why they was, all
I
too
didn't know
glad to
that.
not mention her name. Like,
I didn't know
Mo-
they didn't like her.
Moolah
I completely
was
missed that.
Moolah was an evil something, like backstage. Like nobody liked her
Well,
ass.
like I
So
said, she got the eyebrows of a Disney villain, but I didn't know that. I remember her and May being lockstep with each other for years and years and years and years and years. I do not recall nobody disliking Moolah. I'm just, it's interesting how I missed that. I'm usually more observant. Any hoodle. There's a backstage commercial for Alexa versus Asuka, the ultimate deletion. And Vince's Brock Lesnar guarantee. Then Carmella does a selfie where she calls herself the modern day Moolah. Well, awkward. And says she will win the Battle Royal and tease cashing in the contract at Mania. So then Carmella has a match with Naomi. Naomi goes for the disaster kick, but Carmella kicks her off the ropes, yanks her down by her head or her weave, and rolls her up for the 3 count. Next, Shane O'Mac has an announcement. He says he's not going to apologize for what he did. He says he tries to remind us where this all started. He recaps the storyline. He says his conduct may not be suited for a commissioner. He says he spoke with Daniel Bryan about this today and announced that Bryan is going to return next week. He says that Bryan will be on his own next week because he is taking an indefinite leave as commissioner. His announcement is that Kevin is going to face Sami at WrestleMania. He's going to leave, but Owens comes out. Owens says he wanted to wish Shane the best on his future endeavors and said he could beat up Sami whenever he wanted. As in, he don't need to wait till WrestleMania to whoop that ass. Sami interrupts, and he accuses Shane of just listening to the fans and is glad that he's leaving. Shane is baffled that they aren't grateful about being on the Mania card. Owens says they do appreciate it, and then they beat his ass. Because that's what friends do.
Mm-hmm.
It's real love right there. Shane attempts a comeback. They fight him off. Sami gives him the haluva kick, and Owens gives him a pop-up powerbomb. Two referees jump into the ring. They get their asses beat too. They put Shane's head through a chair, and then ram said chair into the ring post. Then they grab him by the arms and drag him to the back. Zayn is singing the goodbye song. When they go to the back, Owens powerbombs him onto a grate, and Shane sold it like he was dying. As the show ends, the officials and EMTs are surrounding him to give him help, and Shane is wheezing. And Kevin and Sami leave. And that is how your Smacky Downy ends for the week.
He was choking. He wasn't wheezing.
Choking on what?
Because remember because they rammed his head into in between the chair into the ring post.
He had
How does that not hurt?
His neck was hit on that chair when they did that spot.
I consider wrestling a lot like magic, where it's like it can't hurt the way it looks like it hurts, but it has to hurt, right?
Yeah, no, that hurt.
Like that can't not hurt. It has to hurt. It's interesting. I don't know.
But yeah, that was a good beatdown.
So real quick, I figured out. So last year, I said it was 4 47-plus-year-olds. It was Goldberg, Taker, Shane, and Triple H. This year, we know it's going to be Taker, Shane, Triple H, but also Angle. All of those people are 48 plus.
48 plus?
48 plus. All four of them are 48 plus. And
that is old. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Other 40-year-olds, Matt Hardy,
John Cena,
Stephanie, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar.
Bobby's 40? Bobby's a good 40.
Bobby, Brock,
Bobby
AJ,
is like
they were all born in 1977.
40. It's an interesting year.
So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of 40-plus-year-olds on the card this year, like almost half the card.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of old folks still hanging on or just getting a start in WWE.
This episode of the WrassleCast is being brought to you by Amazon.com. Please do your shopping through Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Go to CSPN.us, click on the menu tab, scroll down to where it says support the podcast, then click on the Amazon tab. Do your shopping as you normally would. Some of your purchase will come back to CSPN to help keep all the podcasts, especially the WrassleCast, free each and every week. So CSPN.us and Amazon.com, do it today. I'm going to get into NXT as Sanity faced off against Moss and Sabatelli in a Dusty Classic tournament match. Eric Young gets the hot tag and runs wild. Young hits a body slam and the top rope elbow drop. Moss pulls Eric Young to the floor to make the save. Nikki Cross takes out Moss with the crossbody off the steps. Then Alexander Wolf tags in, and the double-team neckbreaker finishes off Sabatelli, and Sanity advances to the next round of the Dusty Classic. Good little opening match. Moss and Sabatelli are still having some problems. Looks like they're going to be headed towards a breakup and a singles match here in the future. I wonder who NXT sees as the star between those two guys. That's going to be interesting when they do break up to see who gets the bigger push. Dee Dee's fave, Tommaso Ciampa arrives to jeers, and the crowd chants for Johnny Gargano. Ciampa drops the mic and he looks to leave. He walks out to Ciampa sucks and we want Johnny chants, which just pisses him off even more. So 2 weeks in a row, Ciampa comes out. Crowd doesn't allow him to say anything. He just sulks around the ring and just walks out. Man, you talk about heat. Ooh, he got heat. And Lacey Evans versus Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai trips up Evans, but Evans immediately attacks Dakota's previously injured arm and grounds the action. Dakota Kai escapes into a roll-up, and Dakota Kai gets the win. After the match, Shayna Baszler arrives. She looks to attack Dakota Kai, but Ember Moon arrives to make the save.
Hey.
Moon says Baszler started this, but she will end it in New Orleans. They brawl, and refs arrive to try to break them up, but they keep brawling. Baszler ends up dropping Moon with a big right hand as the refs try to pull them apart. But Ember fires back up and hits a kick to the face, then heads up top. But Baszler cuts her off. Baszler locks in a Kimura, but Dakota Kai makes the save, kicking Shayna Baszler's face off.
Yes!
Ember Moon follows up with the Eclipse and leaves Shayna Baszler laying in the middle of the ring.
Okay, so I'm new to NXT. I said I was going to start watching every episode starting January. I didn't. I'm just now catching up on them, so I've watched about 4 or 5. First of all, don't Shayna Baszler look like she got a mean strap game?
You need to.
I mean, oh jeez.
I feel like I'm amongst family here. I feel like I can ask that question. Like, don't you like she got a mean strap game?
If you say so, sir.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
you've done the necessary research, so you're the expert.
Y'all saying she's not a stud? I do my Google.
Of course she is, but
she's an EMT and a roller derby coach. She's a stud. So, you know.
Oh shit! I was about to make myself laugh and be like, "Well, she could always be the bottom."
Okay.
Oh Jesus!
I just, from the episodes that I watched today, that was the first thing when I seen her walk out. I was like, "Yo, she probably got a mean ass strap game." But I guess I'm the only one.
That was the first thing you thought of. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I guess I'm the only one who's ever seen her and thought that. So.
I'm pretty sure that it wasn't the first thought in anybody's mind but yours. But...
Oh, so y'all thought it though? Okay.
I mean, I'm sure somebody thought it. I don't like her, so. But I mean, if I must, yeah, probably. Awful people usually are really good at sex. I don't know. Yeah. This makes me icky. Like, I don't want to think about her and sex.
I was hoping that they were going to have this clip on YouTube and I was going to send it to you, but they didn't have it up on YouTube.
Oh, I'll find it. Or maybe I'll just watch it. No, I have to watch my Dutch show.
Yeah.
After I watch my Dutch show, I'll watch that because I would love to see her get her face kicked off. Sounds like a good time.
Dakota Kai looks like she could be the new Bailey.
I adore her. I remember her from the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, she's got the same little baby face characteristics, the kind of underdog, everybody's bigger than her.
Yeah. Her butt's not as big, though. So,
since she wasn't on this week, I just want to jump in and give a shout out to the new love of my life. Miss Belair.
Hold on. The line starts behind me, sir.
She is.
I was here before it was cool.
My goodness. I told my wife, I was like, I got a new wrestling crush, and she is my new number one wrestling crush over Naomi, over everybody. And I showed her the picture, and she was like, "She looks strong. I wouldn't even fight her for you. She could have you." So I am in the clear. I just got to take Montez Ford out by the legs. Don, you ain't no problem. I'll handle you in the parking lot. And you know what I'm saying? Me and my super long ponytailed goddess can live happily ever after. And she can asphyxiate me with that ponytail and those thighs at the same time. And I'll die a glorious death.
Glorious.
Speaking of Montez Ford, the Street Profits wrestled Heavy Machinery in another Dusty Classic Tag Team Tournament match.
Tucker Dusty is right. Talking about that nigga. Dusty.
Tucker Knight works a bear hug on Ford, but he escapes and tags Dawkins in, who runs wild. Tucker cuts off Dawkins with the Thez press. The corner splash follows, and the compactor gets cut off. Dawkins hits a DDT, and Montez Ford hits the frog splash, and the Street Profits get the win.
Don't mind me. I just inhaled an insane amount of cat litter, and so I'm a little high right now. So
Montez Ford is so much fun. Okay, first off, they had on their icy white Street Profits warm-up suits, so they was looking fresh. He had one of the Bianca Belair little lips on his shirt, and he had on the Michael Jackson Thriller glove.
I was rocking with him until I read her Wikipedia, and then I went to her Instagram. I mean, her Twitter, because I already followed her. I've been following her, but I went through them pics and I seen them together at Magic Kingdom and shit. I was rocking with him until then. You know what I'm saying? How you just gonna take my woman to the happiest place on earth though? Like, I don't appreciate that shit at all. So fuck that nigga.
Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying.
Street.
Can I just say that the other nigga? Hawkins,
the other nigga,
Dawkins,
the other nigga.
he ain't nothing but a damn great value D'Lo Brown. So I don't really fuck with him either because I ain't fuck with D'Lo Brown. So
what?
Who doesn't fuck with D'Lo Brown?
Nobody fucks with D'Lo Brown.
I didn't fuck with D'Lo Brown. I'm sorry, I didn't.
The thing about
my least favorite black wrestler.
The thing about Dawkins is he's been at NXT the longest. Him and Ty Dillinger were tied for like the longest, and so Ty got up to the main roster. So now Dawkins is like the longest tenured member of NXT
because he's great value D'Lo Brown. He ain't gonna never make it to the main roster. They gonna make Montel a motherfucking solo act, and Montel gonna move on up. Or Montez.
He's got so much charisma, man.
He ain't got shit. He ain't got shit. I ain't got.
Wow.
he got Bianca Belair.
And see, and that's why I'm gonna handle you after this podcast. That is exactly why you gonna get dealt with first.
I'm just pointing out the facts, man. Just a messenger.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just take them facts out of your ass after the podcast.
So we move on to Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, baby. Dunne catches Cole with the German suplex, but the bitter end is stopped as Dunne is distracted by Fish and O'Reilly. Back in the ring, Adam Cole hits the last shot for a near fall. Dunne does the finger break spot, and the bitter end is cut off again as Fish and O'Reilly attack Pete Dunne. The Undisputed Era work over Dunne, but Roderick Strong arrives and makes the save. The numbers game gets to Strong when Dunne starts to fight back and everyone brawls. Strong and Dunne clean house, then Strong and Dunne show respect to each other after the match. This was a really good match and a really good angle. So it looks like I guess they're maybe going to get one more person to join in, and we might have like a 6-man tag or something like that. But Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, I'd like to see them wrestle for the United Kingdom title at the next takeover. That would be a good match. Next, it's time to sign the main event for NXT TakeOver in New Orleans, as Regal is hosting things, and DD's fave, Aleister Black, is out first.
Hey.
Selena Vega follows. Black is confused by the lack of Cien Almas. Vega says that Almas is not here tonight, but she is. She claims that Almas would destroy Black if he were here. Black cuts her off and hands her the contract. He moves the table and takes a seat in the ring. He says they are now on the same level.
Mm.
Vega gets pissed and says Almas will destroy Black and make him regret stepping into the ring with him. Black makes short jokes and says Almas doesn't measure up. Vega slaps him and demands he sign the contract. He does. Black says he didn't come alone. And Candice LeRae arrives and attacks Zelina Vega. She kicks Zelina's ass and works her over on the floor and then back into the ring. Candice hits the second rope bulldog and Zelina Vega is out. And on the stage, Aleister Black and Candice LeRae stand tall.
Mm.
Another excellent performance by Zelina Vega. She is so money on the mic. Like I said, next to Alexa Bliss, she's the second best promo in all of WWE when it comes to the women. The Aleister Black thing where he moved the table and sat down and then was looking up at her and like, now we're on the same level. That was pretty funny. That was a good spot. This should be pretty good. It looks like they're setting it up for Aleister Black to maybe take the title off of Cien Almas, which that would be sad to see because I've really enjoyed Zelina Vega in this managerial role and, you know, going out there and being able to talk her shit about, you know, helping Almas turn his career around. So I've really enjoyed her the last like 3 or 4 months in that role. So another good addition to NXT. They're moving forward with the Dusty Classic and the Ember Moon Shayna Baszler angle was really good. Like I said, Dee, it was, you know, they definitely laid her out and got some revenge on her. So it's definitely, you would definitely give it 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch that.
Our last review will be 205 Live as Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa faced off against the Lucha Party members of Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik. Grand Metalik misses a double stomp and tweaks his knee. Itami picks up the win with his new variation of the GTS. After the match, Itami was being dickish towards Metalik, and that causes Lince Dorado to have to come in between them, and Akira Tozawa has to like shove him back. So they're teasing like another singles match between Hideo Itami and Lince Dorado. Jack Gallagher versus Murphy Myers. Gallagher traps Myers in the ring skirt and pummels him. Gallagher hits the headbutt and he picks up the win. Just another match establishing the new Jack Gallagher. A couple of weeks ago, Maverick Drake told him to, sort himself out. So this is just another display of Jack trying to sort himself out. We get a Mustafa Ali promo talking about battling bullies his whole life. He calls Drew Gulak a bully, and when he faces him next week, he has a chance to make things right. And then we get Roderick Strong versus Cedric Alexander, a cruiserweight title tournament semifinal match.
That was a hell of a match.
Strong drags Cedric to his feet and hits a knee strike in the end of Heart 8, but Cedric gets his foot on the ropes. Now, this is a callback because earlier in the match, Cedric hit the lumbar check and Roddy got his foot on the ropes. So Strong then drags Cedric back in, but Cedric hits the back elbow. They struggle to their feet and they trade strikes, and then they start throwing hands. Strong counters the lumbar check and cradles Cedric for 2. You get a knee strike by Strong, but Cedric cradles Roderick Strong out of nowhere for the win. And Cedric Alexander will be on his way to WrestleMania to face the winner of next week's match between Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak for the cruiserweight title.
Hey.
Yeah, like Coop said, this match was really good.
That was a really, really good match. I don't like that it ended with a cradle and not a finisher, but otherwise, that was an outstanding match between those two.
I wish they could have wrestled in front of the NXT crowd, so the crowd would have been up to the level of the match.
I think 205 Live should just film at Full Sail. I think they should do that. I think they should be on Wednesday nights with NXT. Like, not at the show, but like their show happens on Wednesday night, either before or after NXT.
Yeah, because that's
having them at SmackDown isn't working for them.
Right. It's just because now I've said this for like last month. It seems like every time I've been on the show, Now the wrestling product is actually really good. It's actually really real cruiserweight wrestling now, but the fans just don't give a shit. So you have these really good matches that don't get a lot of fan reaction, and it kind of brings it down. Like, but if this match was at like a Full Sail, man, those people would have been crazy. And the energy that the match provided would have been matched by the energy the crowd would have gave them back, and it just doesn't happen.
Also,
At SmackDown tapings.
Cedric must have been listening to AJ's promo because he pulled the "I earned it" line after the crowd was doing the "You deserve it" for him going to WrestleMania. So
right. Now, since you're a lifelong member of the Bullet Club for 1 week.
Lifelong member for the last 7 days. You know what it is. Gang.
So give us some thoughts on ROH had their 16th anniversary pay-per-view last week. There was a big angle that came out of their main event. The Young Bucks, and I forgot who I think it's Page, Hangman Page, I think.
Yes, Page.
For the 6-man tag team title match. They call
themselves the Hung Bucks. Because he is the Hangman, which I have a problem with.
That's nasty.
I have a problem with any white man who calls himself the Hangman. And he also walks around, he has a rope draped around him, and one of his Hangman Bullet Club shirts has a noose on it. So they've recently been trying to distance themselves from the very problematic Hangman thing and trying to focus it more on, hey, he's the Hangman because he's well endowed. He's hung. So the 6-man tag with Adam Page and the Young Bucks, they call themselves the Hung Bucks. And they were the 6-man champions in Ring of Honor. And they recently just lost at the anniversary show. They lost to SoCal Uncensored, their 6-man titles that they've held since last August. It was a hell of a match. It was a Las Vegas street fight. They were doing spots all over the place. The Young Bucks are the most creative tag team in the game right now. Like, the shit that they come up with to do in matches, nobody's doing that shit. And as much as I love the Usos and the New Day, they're not doing the shit that the Young Bucks are doing. So that was a really good match. The most interesting part of the night, since, I only got a little bit of time to talk about the show, Cody and Kenny Omega have been having their beef. Cody's trying to vie to be the new leader of the Bullet Club. Kenny Omega is the current leader of the Bullet Club. So they've had their beef and they got their match scheduled. So Cody was coming out to do his match with a member of the Kingdom, Matt Taven, and he brought Brandy, and he brought this other character out that they have on their web show, Barry the Drug-Free Bear, because they like to emphasize that the entire Bullet Club is drug-free, unlike maybe some other people in WWE. So they were at ringside. It seemed at one point like the Bear might have been trying to, mess Cody up, but Cody ended up winning the match, and they're in the ring celebrating post-match, and out of nowhere the Bear shoves Cody, and then the Bear goes to remove his head and do a slow reveal, and the whole time the Bear was Kenny Omega. So Kenny was there whole time ringside with Brandy at Cody's match. Cody won, and then he hit Cody with his version of the Kinshasa, which there's a long story behind why he does the Kinshasa. He calls it something else, but it's the same move.
The V trigger, man.
Yeah, the V trigger. Lifelong fan for a week, but I forget stuff.
Vega from Street Fighter.
Stuff. No, but he uses the move because he never got a chance to fight Nakamura in Japan. Nakamura left to go to WWE before they got a chance to wrestle, so he stole his move out being petty. But so yeah, Omega hit Cody with the move, and then Brandy gets all up in Kenny's face, and she's yelling and screaming and slapping on him, and then in some weird Rhodes family shit, she grabs Omega and kisses him for like that long TV kiss where they don't just move, they just hold their lips together for an extended period of time. She did that shit. And then she was like, go tell Ibushi you like that. And then, because she had a problem. She had a problem with Ibushi, Kenny saving Ibushi when the Young Bucks were trying to jump him. Well, when the rest of the Bullet Club was trying to jump him, Kenny came in and saved them. She had a problem with that. All of them had a problem with that. So she said, go tell Ibushi you like that.
So the backstory is that Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi in New Japan are called the Golden Lovers.
Yeah, they were tag team partners.
And so what it is it's teasing that they're in a gay relationship with each other. And so that's the reason why when Brandy kisses Kenny, she tells him to go back and tell Kota that you liked it.
Tell your little boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. That you liked it. Because in the match at Honor Rising that you didn't see, where that comes from is in this middle of this match, Cody Rhodes kisses Kota Ibushi. And this is like where it first started.
I said on some weird Rhodes family shit.
Yeah, so they're basically doing this thing where they're intimating or playing up that the best wrestler in the world, being Kenny Omega, is in a gay relationship. So
they're trying to break up a happy home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is one of the, like I said, it's one of the cooler storylines. It's probably the biggest storyline in like worldwide international wrestling.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, and the villain Marty Scurll, which I think is a stupid last name. I think he should have just moved the R and made it Marty Scurll. But anyway, Marty Scurll, he won his match earlier in the night with Punishment Martinez, and so after.
What?
Yeah, it's just this really
Punishment
tall,
Martinez.
It's this really tall Mexican guy. He's like a Diaz de los Muertos version of Undertaker.
That's lit, but Punishment as a name
is Punishment Martinez. He's actually like really dope, and they did some like really good, like really dope spots in their match. This dude's like 6'7", and he did a running suicide dive over the top turnbuckle. Like from the ring, and jumped over the turnbuckle and landed on everybody on the outside. It was some dope shit. But so Marty won his match, and then after the Ring of Honor Championship match, Marty came out to confront the champion, and then they went off air. So,
and the champion for ROH is Dalton Castle.
Yes, Dalton Castle and the boys.
And the boys.
Dalton retained against Jay Lethal. So yeah, it was some interesting stuff going on with Bullet Club and with ROH and New Japan. Like Don said, I got to get on the Honor Rising because that's the only show that I haven't watched yet. But
so Coop, who did it better? Kenny and Cody or Miz and Dean? Because that's the same angle that Miz and Dean used with the bear.
That was the same angle, but Kenny did it better because the bear is a character on their webisode show. The bear is like a Bullet Club mascot. So Kenny did it better because that bear thing with Miz and Dean, which the whole random, let me make up to you, this, that, and the other. Nothing Dean does is better than anything that anybody else does. So by default, Kenny and Cody did that better because Kenny is the best wrestler in the world, not named AJ Styles or Chris Jericho. So yeah, that's what's going on with ROH, as told by the expert, bringing the elite commentary.
Yeah, so that was a really good show. So yeah, if you guys can find a link to that, check it out. That 6-man tag team match was really good. Like you said, the spots that the Young Bucks put together,
they were doing ridiculous shit all over the place, man. Those guys. I would love for them to get one really good run in WWE and face New Day and face.
It might come when they're 40.
Yeah, I mean that's the magic age.
Yeah. Might come under 40. But right now they've announced the All In show, and they've announced the building where it's going to be. It's going to be in Chicago. The tickets have went on sale. They've almost sold it out.
Oh, because Dave Metzer said that they couldn't sell 10,000 seats in America.
Right.
Because he was talking shit like, yeah, I mean, they do numbers, but they can't sell out no 10,000 seat arena in America. Like, that's not what they do. So they picked that arena because there's like 11,000 seats in that arena. So
Yeah. So this thing is supposed to be like super duper crazy. So I can't wait. Hopefully it gets broadcast on New Japan World, and it's just going to be like a cornucopia of like the best that indie and New Japan and ROH has to give. I bet. So can't wait for that to happen. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm gonna be there watching, because I ain't get this PhD for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Lifelong fan, 7 days strong.
So at this point, I'm gonna open it up to our guest Coop for his shout outs and thank yous.
Thank y'all for having me. You know what I'm saying? It's been about time. Like I was saying earlier, I ain't been on since September, so correct that today finally. Thank you to my wife. She went to sleep, made this a little easier for me to do. I didn't have to interrupt her watching How to Get Away with Murder because she wasn't up to watch it. Thank you to my cats for not knocking over stuff and misbehaving tonight. So they might get a treat. And I will say thank you to my followers, but man, fuck most of them. It's a few of y'all that's some real ones, but the rest of y'all, it's whatever. I don't care. And that's it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Thank you for joining us as always, man. It was a lot of fun kicking it with you tonight.
Yeah, let me go get one more shot and then I'm gonna take my ass to bed too.
Miss Didi Jonay, your shout outs and thank yous.
I will give a shout out to Mel because Mel always gives shout outs to the chairman, Sam, Nick, Sam, Greg, you, of course, my dear producer, Coop. Shout out
gang.
to everybody who live tweets. Thank you for holding it down, especially for Smacky Downey. Considering I barely tweeted this week, but I watched it. But I barely tweeted. So, yeah, thanks to everybody. Jade, because didn't Jade move or something?
Yeah,
Jade
she's
moved.
a California girl now.
Yeah, doing big things. Icon. But yeah, that's it.
All right. I'd like to thank our guest, Coop, for joining us. I'd like to thank our SmackDown Matters correspondent, the lovely and talented Miss Didi Jonay. I'd like to thank Greg and Sam, of course, the chairman, Jamal. I'd like to thank Mel, because Mel always gets shout outs. I'd like to thank everybody here on the CSPN, putting in the work, putting in the time each and every week for all the great podcasts here on the network. Thanks again to everybody in the live tweet who made WrassleCast trend on Twitter. Thank you all for joining us for SmackDown Matters, Cast and Fastlane as well, and voting in the Twitter polls. We got a lot of people voting on the Twitter polls for Fastlane as well. So thank you all for your support. If you listen through iTunes or on iPhone, please rate and review the show. Give us 5 stars. That does help when people, look for shows to listen to. The better our reviews are, the more adapt they are to try to check us out and give us a listen. And on that note, for our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay, for our special guest at Koopa_Kente, I'm Don De Laurente, and this has been the episode 176 of the WrassleCast. Please stay tuned for the parting promo.